here, somebody told us a story about how, or it was where you used to work, right? They told a story about how in like the 1800s, one of the young men who lived in Hermann, which is the town, would row that river.
It's really fast.
12 miles, was that right? To the town that we live in.
Yeah.
To see his girlfriend. It was every Sunday
Every
afternoon.
Sunday.
Can you imagine how smelly he was when he got there?
Yeah, they told us that they told him no. The parents didn't like him and told him no when he asked for her hand in marriage. It's probably because of
Yeah.
12 miles of rowing.
You rode 12 miles each way, up a river one way, to see your girl, and parents don't think you're good enough.
The members of Lewis and Clark's expedition got separated on May 29, 1804. What about
Alright, it was a nice little morning walk. This is actually pretty close to where we live. So Annie, if you're wondering where Annie is, I can't piggyback you. I'm too pregnant. Annie started her school time this morning, so she goes to school for her therapies. So they're provided through the school system, even though we homeschool. So she's there this morning doing that. And we were getting ready to do our homeschool stuff with the other kids. And it was just such a nice day. And we thought, well, we'll take a walk this morning before it gets too hot. But you're so silly. But we're gonna head back now and get some lunch, get Annie off the bus. And then I want to get a little work done to get our greenhouse ready to be wrapped. And I have some ideas maybe about how to heat it. So I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking. I want to see if I can grow all year round this winter with a DIY kind of heat setup for that little greenhouse that we have. So let's get back home. Okay, we're back. Lunch is done, naps are done, school has all been finished, so we're gonna get to work. It is actually not 100 degrees today, so I've been kind of putting this off because it has just been so hot. I just couldn't do it. So that's the greenhouse. You know, we've had it for several years. It needs to be rewrapped with plastic, but we're not gonna do that part today. We're gonna get it ready for planting. So far we've almost always planted like in pots in the greenhouse, but the floor of the greenhouse has kind of started to disintegrate because it was just pallets is all that we used. And so I kind of want to see if we pull everything out, clean it up a little bit, what the ground underneath looks like, because I'm thinking about direct planting into the greenhouse this year. If the ground is a incredible hot mess, or I just can't get everything out, then we'll plant in pots again. I'm not going to kill myself trying to empty it out if the pallets are more together than I think they are because they're kind of heavy. But let's kind of get cleaned up around the outside first, and then we'll clean up the inside, and we'll kind of make a game plan. We'll talk about some of the things we're going to plant, and then kind of how I'm thinking about keeping it warm, and I'll see what your ideas are too, because I know some of you have more experience than I do. Okay, so first things first, we're just trying to clean up outside around the structure. So this is our third year, maybe our fourth year using this greenhouse. And we have to rewrap it every year. And if we had good quality greenhouse plastic, I wouldn't have to do that. But we use painter's tarps, basically. They cost a couple bucks at the hardware store. It's much cheaper. Eventually, I'd like to buy nice greenhouse plastic and maybe get to keep it for a couple years in a row. But as you all know, the last few years, we've been on as close to no spend as possible. Just trying to get Sam through school, and so we're just finishing up the way we started. So we'll get that plastic re-secured, but first I need to clean everything out. I need to clean around the structure. It's just gathered a lot of random gardening things inside because it's a convenient place to throw things in to keep the cats out of it or the kids out of it because it's got a door that latches. So we got some tires from planting the potatoes. I've got some oversized pots. I've got a bunch of like rakes and stuff in there. We're just moving everything out, putting it where it should go, where I hadn't put it away before basically. And then we'll be ready to kind of assess what's going on with the floor. The tires are pretty heavy. The last one was really kind of worked in there, but we're gonna get them moved out so they're not in the way when we actually need to put the tarp or the plastic over the top. And then I'm gonna give it a quick mow. I've had all that stuff kind of hanging out outside around the greenhouse, so it never really gets mowed. So the grass is really tall, and that means it'd be pretty hard to get in there and fasten the tarp to the bottoms of the base of this greenhouse. So we're just get everything mowed short enough so that when I attach that plastic, probably in another week, the grass is pretty short. That's what it looks like inside. It's kind of a hot mess, but I think this is going to be an easy fix. We need to pull those pallets out. I can't remember if these are normal size pallets or oversized. I'm hoping they're normal size. I don't think I'd be able to pick up an oversized pallet right now, but they're pretty broken down, so they're pretty light. We're just gonna kind of pull them out, and I'm going to put them to the side for right now. We get the first two out, no problem, and I pull up a bunch of these weeds that had grown in, and I also check the flooring for any leftover pallet boards, just trying to get the ground as clear as possible. The back ones were much heavier. That was a different problem. So we're just gonna focus on the front right now, what we can do by ourselves. Kind of check around for nails or anything that might have gotten left in, and get that last front pallet pushed out the door so we can kind of see what the ground is looking like underneath. I can't get the back pallets out, so we're gonna actually put these pots back in. We'll use those on the back pallet, just balance them as well as we can. That back pallet is pretty beat up, but I think it can do another season here with some pots on it without just utterly collapsing. The construction manager is always looking for something to do, and he can never keep his pants on, so you'll have to excuse his lack of formal attire. And then I decided I want to get these pallets at least on the other side of the fence, because this is where the kids play too, and we don't need that just laying around and giving them splinters. Bubbles! Whee! Yucky. Okay, so I think this is the plan. That back set of pallets are all like hooked together, so you have to move it all at once, and that's too heavy for me, so it's gonna stay. And I got the pots back in here on top of them, so we'll plant in the pots, and these will be, these pots. Oh no, Patty!
He didn't realize
Your hands are all soapy.
He just got
Are you okay?
on his face.
Here, use his t-shirt to wipe his face off a little better. Okay. These tray pot things are really good for radishes and for any kind of like lettuce. So we'll do spinach, lettuce, and some radishes in these. And then I am going to try to direct plant into the ground in this front half where we've been able to remove pellets. The ground is super soft from all that old straw and hay decomposing over the years. You got bubbles. I'm sorry. You okay? It's baby soap. It doesn't hurt. Yeah, so we'll plant some stuff here. I haven't quite decided. Might try some carrots. I got some zucchini I want to try and hand pollinate. I don't know that that'll work at all, but we're going to try. Okay, and for heating it, I have a couple ideas. And actually, this video is getting kind of long, so I think I'm going to save them for another video. But I have basically 3 ideas that I think might work, and so I will make another video, maybe post it after this one, talking about the 3 ideas and showing some pictures, and you guys can tell me what you think. We've never done it heated before. It's always been unheated. I just put the plastic over it, but that means about mid-December it just starts to get too cold and everything dies. So I have some ideas, DIY heaters, but we'll save those for next time, so this is not a 30-minute video by the time I'm done. So, all right, I think that's good. Good progress. Can't do it all in one day. Just get too tired, but it's all about one step at a time. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.